Hi, my name is Michael Poley, and I've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My friends are obsessed and always make jokes and references to it, and so now, 20 years later, I've been convinced to watch the show from beginning to end, one episode a week. I'm a Buffy virgin.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Buffy Virgin. This is your host for the night, Dennis St. John, and as always, we have Virgin Michael Poley.
Hello, so happy to be here.
And we have John from Philly.
What's up?
And we have Travis.
Hello.
And I am your host, Dennis St. John. And before we get started, I just want to make an announcement. I am going to be at the Famous Monsters Halloween Bash, October 27th through the 29th in San Jose. And I may be hosting a Buffy panel that may be a special Buffy Virgin episode. So stay tuned for more details about that. But before I do that, we're going to watch Dead Man's Party tonight. All right, so we start off, as always, with a summary, this time by John.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 3, Episode 2, Dead Man's Party. Buffy's back after running away. It seems everyone in Sunnydale has handled the ordeal of her absence a little differently. The Scooby Gang has decided to go with the leather look and hunt vampires on their own. Giles has been repressing all of his feelings, and Joyce has been drowning her sorrows in Nigerian artwork and Oprah's book club selections. Buffy isn't wanted for murder anymore for some reason, but just try telling that to Principal Shimmerham. He won't let Buffy back at Sunnydale HS under any circumstances. But hey, who needs school? You can still hang out with your friends at the new hip coffee place. Unless they stand you up. Or you could spend time with your mom, if she isn't too busy hanging out with her nosy and judgy new friend who's pretty sure that you are the sole source of Mom's depression. Well, at least the cat won't judge you, unless it's dead. Or as it turns out, undead. Zombie cats aside, the thing Buffy needs is a nice welcome home party. Joyce tries to organize a quiet dinner, but Buffy's friends have something else in mind. Willow and the gang devise the perfect coming home party. Band, snacks, blue solo cups, making out in front of others, lots of strangers, and absolutely no opportunities to discuss feelings. The perfect party! Who could ask for more? Well, how about Buffy getting a bad case of party alienation and deciding to pack her bags to go back and move in with Chantrell again? Next thing you know, the emotion-deferring machinery of the party grinds to a halt, and everyone starts having feelings all over the living room dance floor. Joyce and Willow are mad at Buffy for running away again. Buffy's mad at Joyce for kicking her out of the house. Willow is mad that she doesn't have a friend to share her pain with. And Xander is mad at Buffy because he likes yelling. It seems like our heroes are in grave danger of being honest with one another when a handful of zombies save the day and help to remind the group that the friends that slay together stay together. It turns out that the zombies are after Joyce's Nigerian mask. The first undead creature to reach the mask and put it on will become the Zombie King incarnate. Smokin'! It turns out that Joyce's new bosom buddy Pat is just the zombie for this job. It's okay, though. After a short fight scene with some kind of flashy light gimmick, Pat gets a shovel to the ocular cavity, and all is well. The end.
All right. Good job, John. I feel like we don't really need to do the rest of the podcast. This summary hit everything I wanted to talk about. So, all right.
I honestly feel like the podcast should just be like this one long audio file where we just piece together all the plot summaries. So you just listen to plot summary after plot summary after plot summary.
That can be a special edition of the podcast.
And then you don't even have to watch Buffy. We're done.
That's like John's notes on Buffy. It's not Cliff's
notes. We'll call that Summarizing the Slayer.
Yeah.
It'll be a separate podcast.
John, you have a note that just says Oingo Boingo?
Dead Man's Party is a hit song by the band Oingo Boingo.
Oh.
Which was actually in the soundtrack to Back to School, the Rodney Dangerfield movie. The entire time that I was working on this and watching it, I couldn't get the song out of my head. And I was like, I almost wanted to, for the summary, get like the karaoke version of Dead Man's Party and like do like a Weird Al version and like sing the plot over it. Except I don't know how to sing, and I got as far as like downloading GarageBand and singing into it, and then playing it back, and then I was like, I'm not doing that because I heard my own voice trying to sing. It was not a good thing.
Wow, someday we do need to do a musical summary. Now that you've put that into into our head.
That's Mike's job. I think Mike's the only one who knows that is thing.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
I feel like this is all over Ready Player One too. So if you've read that book, you like have no choice but to think of this song all the time when Dead Man's Party comes up, because that's like where the clues to the mystery are in that that book. Did you guys read Ready Player One?
No.
All right, cool.
Well,
Steven Spielberg's movie comes out soon, so you can just watch that.
Yeah. John, you also say primitive art. Really, Joyce?
Yeah. I'm kind of really not cool with Joyce hanging up like, oh look, it's Nigerian. You don't appreciate primitive art. Like, wow.
Yeah, I was also like,
Joyce.
What the fuck is Joyce's job? Like, that she's bringing these home, and like that thing clearly has teeth, like animal teeth in it. I guess is what they're assuming, not demon teeth. Although, I mean, it is demon teeth, right? But yeah, that's fucked up, Joyce. And right during that scene, Joyce is like, "You must be starving," and Buffy's like, "Oh, like I was starving until you fed me like 8 times in 2 hours." And then like the whole thing of like her wanting to throw a food party for me is like Joyce's impulse to feed her daughter is like healing and bonding, which like I think is also kind of how my family deals. Like I even wrote it into a comic. Like at the end of Amelia, there's that short story about Sammy and his dad keeps trying to feed him as a way of like trying to connect with his son, you know? I don't know if that's how your guys' family functioned also.
Well, I will say that your house always had the best food, Dennis.
Yeah, we were really trying to communicate through food, man.
That's a very universal way of empathizing and communicating with people. Yeah. So I totally agree. I'm the same way. My family.
You're in Food City and you're downtown.
Which is better than being in Party Villa. Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to do the great lines for this before we got into Weird Noticings. Sorry. This is my first time hosting, guys. There's going to be mistakes. I'll start with best lines. I had a hoot nanny, big on the hoot, little on the nanny. And from that dude, Party Villa, can I rock you? And then, you got the wrong house, Mr. Belvedere. John, you're next.
That guy's great.
The Saved by the Bell was off the air by this. It feels like, but I don't know for sure. I haven't double checked.
I like when Buffy says that, homeschooling, it's not just for scary religious people anymore.
Yeah, I have a friend who homeschools her kids, and I almost sent her a clip of Buffy saying that, but then I was like, maybe that's intrusive.
Maybe she's not going to take it the way I want her to take it.
I feel like homeschoolers have to have a thick skin to that stuff. Like that's just part of that world and the way people perceive it. Because like one person in my improv group right now, she homeschools. Like she's like a homeschool teacher. So it's like, we've totally I think brought that stuff up like to be funny or whatever, and she's totally thick skinned, which is awesome. I was like, oh, good.
And I think even if you're not the scary religious type, like your kids end up knowing that type if they're raised homeschooling, right? So they're like, I was talking about Harry Potter with friends, but one friend can't watch anything that has to do with magic. So that shit still is around.
Yeah. My favorite line was Joyce saying to Buffy, "Will you be slaying tonight?" Which is just I feel like that line's been said before, but then Xander says, "Will you be laying tonight?" I don't remember what episode that was.
He says, "How's the slaying go?"
Yeah,
I mean, how'd the laying go? Because he's caught talking about slaying in front of people he shouldn't.
That's right.
That's the line. I don't know what episode that is, but I do remember that.
That's like season 2, first episode has like Cordelia saying like, "Did you kill any demons or did you slay any demons this summer?" Yes, our own personal demons, such as thrift.
All right, yeah.
Mike, you don't
let's
have any best lines?
You didn't like any lines today?
The Hootenanny one was fun. No, I didn't have any best lines. There were a lot. Maybe the guy, I don't know, when they like he can't understand what Giles, like he's trying to hear on the phone, like who he's supposed to talk to or whatever, like when Giles is calling, but I don't remember the line. So let me, I'll Google that one.
That was the scene I quoted.
One other line I liked, but I didn't write down was the camera pans to the people I don't actually recognize, these extras, and they go, "I heard this party's for some girl that just got a rehab." And then the person drags on a cigarette in Buffy's house, and it's just the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen.
Oh, man, there's so much disrespect to the house at this party. We'll get into this later, but I really like the party dude who like gives Buffy like a come hither look while like drizzling himself with snacks. Like, what is that move? Like, it's sexy when men are rained on by confectionery treats. Yeah. John, you say only Oz does not assume that leather jackets help with slaying.
Yeah, I just really love that everybody like decides they're going to be, they're going to be the team Slayer, they're like going to Voltron themselves into replacing the Slayer. That they all decide they all have to wear leather jackets because that's what works for Buffy, and like everybody does that except for Oz, who wears like a brown leather vest and is the odd man out. I think it's cool that he's still the nonconformist.
Yeah, I was gonna write a note that I decided not to because you're that even though like I know Oz and Xander are being dressed by the same person, like because it's a TV show, I think I really like Oz's fashion a lot more than Xander's. I feel like he's much more what I was trying to go for clothing than in high school, and therefore still to this day than Xander.
I feel like we should compare the clothing choices made on Buffy with contemporary TV shows or contemporary movies at the same time that have the same actors in it, because that'd be really fun.
Yeah, same actors.
Yeah, because I have I was just looking at.
Would it just be Scream 2 and Cruel Intentions like over and over again?
No, and also Can't Hardly Wait, which I'm going to show you a picture of right now. So there's like a bunch of great like contemporary movies. I think, and Idle Hands, I think too. I feel like Seth Green's in Idle Hands.
He is, yeah.
So I feel like you would be like, actually, no, it was this movie from 1998 that is better fashion. But I agree, Oz is way better dressed than Xander. But I also think this episode, everyone looks a lot older. I feel like
time keeps moving forward.
Time keeps moving, but I feel like they've really hit that 25-year-old stage of development.
Yeah, I definitely noticed it with Xander. He definitely looks older in this episode.
Yeah. So I made a point about Buffy's reintroducing herself to the gang, like parallels how she like saves Xander and Willow in the first episode of season 2. And it made me like, I think what I liked about that parallel is like that the gang has grown so much. Like it's not just what are you doing, Travis? That it's not just like Willow and Xander anymore. Now the gang has expanded and like now they're more functioning. They're not just all victims towards the vampire if Buffy's not there. You got to see like, I don't know. It's just a slow movement, an expansion of your friend group and stuff. I think in a very like nostalgia way, it's cool. So that's all I had to say about that, I guess. Mike, you say that you're surprised Buffy didn't get back into school.
Yeah, I assumed the show wouldn't deal with this, but it does. There's multiple, characters meeting with the principal to try and get him to change his decision about expelling Buffy, and I was surprised how that part is progressing. It was just like, really, this? Like those scenes were all like surreal to me. Like
I also like that he brings up like her GPA as the reason for expulsion. Like you can't be expelled because of like we saw her GPA maybe in season 1, maybe it's gotten worse, but it wasn't that bad. It was like C's, right?
Yeah, I have another like longer question about how do schools work later.
And John quoted, this would have been one of my quotes, but I saw it was in the noticings, "You're not wanted for murder anymore." I super love that also, just because it's like what's the quickest way to get rid of this plot line that we don't really care about? Just have Oz say it, and Buffy's like, "Oh, good, that was such a drag."
Yeah, I mean, the show's being self-aware about it, but it's essentially like you said, the least possible amount of time to spend on this issue, and just such hand waving. I really want to know what the story is there, if there is one.
But also in this episode, 2 people die at Buffy's house. It's crazy. I mean, this house where somebody has already died, aka Ted, and then Buffy's mom's friends dies, and then that teenager gets his neck snapped in the living room, which is
well, okay. So we know that the cops know about vampires, so we know that's been established.
Some cops.
And so at least some of the cops do, or at least like the higher up cops seem to know. And so maybe they know about the Vampire Slayer, and maybe they know to leave well enough alone, and that anything that happens at her house is we're just going to ignore it. They may have kind of a de facto policy around that.
Well, I mean, the episode kind of sidesteps the whole issue of their deaths because they vanish. When that lady is killed with the zombie mask on, she literally disappears, and then you don't see the dead body of that teenager who got his neck snapped. So
yeah, there's a shot of all the zombies vaporizing.
Yeah, it's like that kid.
Yeah,
died.
so somebody is just looking for their kid for the rest of their life. Right?
Oh yeah. Have to bury an empty coffin and everything. Oh, that's horrible.
And who is that lady? Who's Joyce's friend? I forget what her name was.
Pat.
It's Pat.
Did Pat have a family? It's like, no, Pat went missing, and the cops should at least go to Buffy's house because that was her last. That was where she was last seen. It's like,
Yeah, that whole last scene is really shocking. Like how quickly it goes from 0 to 100. When it's zombie time, it's like I think I gasped when that character had his neck.
Oh.
It was like, shit, that's the punishment for being a jerk on the phone.
Things are harsh in Sunnydale, man. I think we can get into Pat more later. I had some ideas.
Totally, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So yeah, Mike, you say there's another Angel Dream.
Yeah, is this going to keep happening? I feel I'm going to make a prediction.
Make a prediction.
I'm going to predict that there will be exactly 3 more dreams about Angel in the episodes, or there's going to be a supernatural explanation for why these keep happening, because this is insane that these angel dreams are happening. So,
that's a very complex prediction, Mike. I'm not sure I can work it into the spreadsheet. Exactly
why
3 or something. I don't know. That's difficult.
Why 3? I'm just curious.
I mean, really, I should go back to season 1 and look how many dream episodes there were, or there's like a dream opener or a cut to a dream, because there's a bunch of those. It's just, I don't know why we're having all these angel dreams. I mean, I guess we need to remember Angel's alive because he's going to come back this season. But
what if the series Angel was just Buffy's dreams?
That would be amazing.
What, Travis? What if it is? What if it is, Travis?
What if it is, though? I mean, what if it is?
Angel's dead in hell. No, he's not. He's a detective. He has a detective agency that Buffy dreams about every night.
She really dreams complex character plots with some characters she knows and some new characters. Travis, you say Buffy is mean when she throws Cordelia to the ground. Is that when she first runs into the Scooby Gang?
Cordelia's like, "Hi, Buffy," and is really nice and smiling, and then Buffy just throws her to the ground, and then she's like,
trying to kill a vampire.
They're in the middle of a
she
fight.
doesn't say sorry. She doesn't say sorry, and I gotta say,
because there's a lot going on.
Cordelia is dumped on this episode and in other episodes.
Well,
I'm watching all of disc 1 of
no argument there.
And it's like Cordelia is totally character changed and is trying to be a good person. Is really nice, and no one is nice to her, and she is dumped on disc 1. She's treated very poorly, is what I should say.
I agree. No one's nice to her.
Dumped on disc 1.
Yeah, I mean, emotionally, and so she's being really maligned, And
But they're nicer to her than they used to be. I'm not saying that they're nice to her, but they're less mean to her. Like there's a lot less of like really crazy Cordelia bashing. Because there used
I
to
don't
be,
think it's nice to let anybody date Xander. I think if Buffy and Willow really cared, they would break them up.
It's one thing if you're not friends and you're not nice to somebody, but they're supposed to be her friends and they're not nice to her. They're cold. That's worse. Worse. And I think friendship is a big deal in this episode.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is a big theme.
So, let's see. I say that there's a scene where Joyce is like, they should be special allowances for you because is the term superhero offensive? So it's just like that feels very X-Men-like, where it's just like, this superpower makes me some sort of non-specific marginalized group. Like, so anyway, that was my note. I don't know. Anyone
Dennis,
have anything?
Yeah, Dennis, you can comment this. The publisher of the Buffy comics is Dark Horse, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But was Dark Horse bought by Marvel?
No.
Nope. Still independent.
Some of the properties, their Star Wars properties, was bought by Marvel. That's what happened. Because I think
it wasn't bought by Marvel. Dark Horse used to just license Star Wars comics,
right? And then
but because Star Wars got bought by Marvel,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, Dark Horse never had any ownership stake in Star Wars.
Yes.
They just were doing licensed comics.
Yeah, and creating some great content.
And they do a lot of there's a lot of comic companies that do licensed comics, and some of them just aren't great. But Dark Horse tends to do really high end licensed comics. Like they are doing this Alien series right now by James Stokey, who's like one of my favorite recent artists. That's really good, called Aliens: Dead Orbit.
I was trying to bring up was the fact that
John asks, what would happen if the zombie cat managed to get the mask on?
I mean, it's a good thing cats don't have thumbs, right? Because I feel like the cat could have gotten the mask on. And what would happen? Like there'd be like a zombie cat king. Just imagine that.
I bet it would be a lot harder to defeat a zombie cat king. Like it'd be jumping around, all dodgy and stuff.
Totally. I just like, what was that cat's end game? Is kind of the question.
Still have like
asking.
Cat. I asked this later on, but I can do it now. Also, of what caused the mask even to activate? Like, because presumably they didn't buy it while it was like actively making.
It's a great
zombies.
question. I saw that, Dennis. That's a great question.
It's been in Nigeria for like 100 years or 1,000 years or whatever. Like, I didn't see any I didn't see Joyce like cut her finger and spill blood on the mask or anything like that. I mean, I guess the answer is probably just like the Hellmouth. Right?
Yeah. Like so many things, the answer is the Hellmouth, right? Because Hellmouth.
Because Hellmouth. So Mike, you say, I thought that everyone was happy to see Buffy, but they were really pissed at her.
Yeah, so maybe I wasn't I watched this one in the opening part where they're like Buffy like interrupts them while they're trying to slay, and like it's kind of a weird fun scene. I thought that they were excited to see her, and then I was totally wrong. Like I thought they were genuinely going to throw her a party. No, like I feel like the episode, like I was surprised how big the reversal was at the party. I guess of like everyone's like that confrontation with Joyce and then Xander chiming in, just like really insane to me.
Totally. I feel like I don't like very rarely on this show, especially in later years, I guess, do I like 100% empathize with Buffy over other people. But in this episode, I do. I'm like, she's the one who's been dealing with shit. Like when Xander's like, what should we say? Thanks for ruining our lives for 3 months. Like, how exactly did she ruin your life? Because you like had to fight some monsters? Like, fuck you, dude. Like, I definitely wrote multiple times in my notes, like, fuck you, Xander. You're being a complete ass.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because Buffy saved the world again. You know what I'm saying? And I think this episode was totally unfair to Buffy. Some parts of it were good, but Xander's argument and Willow's argument were totally crazy. And Xander's totally.
Well, now hold on.
Xander's totally crazy in this episode as well.
Xander continues to be the worst. No argument there. But I think that both Joyce and Buffy have like understandable feelings. Like I don't know if it's right to be mad at. Like I mean, being mad at Buffy may not be the way to express it. But like I think that like Willow's like it's understandable.
I think Willow
like,
is right to be like, yeah. Especially your thing of like, you were my best friend and I'm going through real life stuff and now I can't even talk to you, right?
Well, right. And Buffy assumes that everybody, like the moment where Buffy assumes that everybody else's upsetness has to be relative to her. Like it has to be based on her narrative. And Willow comes back with, actually, no, I'm not mad at you because of you. I'm mad at you because I'm having a life too. That reads to me. That reads is very real.
But the Xander thing is really bad because, like,
Xander sucks. Xander, we all know that.
Xander making out with Cordelia, like she's nibbling his ear, this weird like teen sex thing that's happening, and
super gross.
Like just trying to get, Buffy's basically trying to get Xander's attention ish. Like clearly, the Cordelia's sexual intention is more important, but it's like he could not give a shit about her, and then for him to like pull the selfishness, like you just like what's this behavior act out thing, right? Where it's like he's being super selfish in that scene, and then he makes it about himself. So it's just like the selfishness read is just so intense for Xander that like his outrage is just it's from another planet, and so like it makes you hate him in the scene again. And just like I feel like I agree with his outrage somewhat. Like I feel like it's somewhat empathetic, but he loses me with the makeout scene with Cordelia, which felt really gratuitous.
Yeah, but I just think the anger that everybody feels is akin to like, being really angry and confrontational with somebody who is in recovery, right? Or like is like trying to get their shit together, like, but they're like, you're off your meds, or whatever.
It's not a mature way to deal with the situation, and of course they're all in high school. But I think it's weird.
Except for Joyce.
Except for Joyce. Well, yeah, but I think that, okay, so I think the two parts that are frustrating really are, basically they're really, like Willow's life and Xander's life are, and Cordelia and Oz, like they have the good life. They're alive. They're not in hell. They have, their significant others. So I know that they're all kind of self-centered. Like all this stuff is going on with me, but it's actually all good stuff. So that's why it doesn't really play very well for sympathy for me. When Buffy's life is the exact opposite. Things are not going well for her. So she's really sympathetic, but it's hard for somebody to get really selfish and say, you left my life. I have this whole new thing going on. And yeah, that's, frustrating that person isn't there for you. Don't get me wrong, but things that are happening for you are good. So that's where one part of the sympathy doesn't work for me. And then the second part that doesn't really work is like, is it just doesn't make sense that they would be angry at this person because this is someone they lost. Like, I just feel like the emotional center of this episode makes no sense in the real world because these people would all be super excited to see someone they hadn't seen in forever. And they hug a little bit at the beginning of the episode, when they see each other, but I don't know. I just think the emotional like the way the episode's grounded does not have any semblance of reality. And that's why I have a problem with it.
We'll have to talk about this more in themes because, like, I think
can I just jump back a scene and say what kind of guests decide the type of event they're invited to? Like
teenagers. That's what kind.
Fuck them. They were invited to a freaking dinner party. What the fuck?
Also, what's with all the hate on Brie? Brie is a wonderful cheese.
Brie is delicious. How dare you attack any type of cheese?
I mean, maybe I'm an adult
a delicious
now.
Soft cheese.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like, I think I've always liked Brie. So fuck that. Yeah, they're being shitty.
Yeah. My brother.
Allison Brie. I think that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
She was in Kong, right?
Who can hate Allison Brie?
She was in Kong, right?
No, that's Brie Larson.
That's Brie Larson. Another Brie. Listen, I'm just getting my Bries confused.
Wait, do the other Bries
you
also
can have the whole like Brie platter? Allegedly?
Listen, all Brie is good. I have to say, apparently.
My brother this week was like, I don't like the cheese that they give us, like where he lives, so I keep it in my pocket for a little while, and it makes it softer and it's nice. So he's walking around eating pocket cheese. Speaking of Brie.
Wow. Speaking of how your family uses food to deal with things.
Yeah, really.
A nice cave he can put his cheese in to mature. Just find him a nice cave. He just needs to take the cheese and put it in a cave.
Yeah, I should find him. Yeah. I think he likes the efficiency of having the pocket cheese, John, you say Xander and Willow's social standing has improved greatly. You're totally
Yeah. So
right.
can you imagine them like trying to throw this party in season 1? Like, for them to on a whim be just like, let's throw a party and people come. Like, I don't think so.
That's because
I think it's because of who they're dating. Because Oz and Cordelia are both like super cool. So I think like by extension they're super cool. So when they throw a party, people show up. That's what I think. I think it's because they're dating cool people.
I thought about that also in the library scene. There's like just a little bit of interaction between just Oz and Cordelia, and it's just like that moment where you're like, these people would socialize outside of who they're dating. Like we know that they did. Like it's just interesting. It's very social. The social attachments of like the high school dynamic, right? Of like Cordelia and Oz are definitely cooler than Willow and Xander.
I don't know what they're doing dating either of them, to tell you the truth.
Your lead guitar, that's currency.
I think they see. Well, I can understand Oz dating Willow. I mean, come on. But
you're right. But why would anyone date Xander? Let's just shit on Xander some more. Fuck Xander. He's the worst.
John, you say schnapps gross.
Rating on iTunes.
Schnapps is gross. It's gross that they're drinking schnapps. I think that's gross.
I also thought that Pat and Joyce were drinking white wine at first. I didn't see them drinking schnapps.
And I thought
they have a bottle that's definitely clear liquid that has like a label. I don't know what kind of schnapps it is, but it doesn't look very like fancy.
Oh, I thought the props guy just screwed up and put water in that and didn't food color it right.
No, there's lots of schnapps is clear.
No, I thought it was supposed to be wine, but they screwed up.
No. They only have a teeny bit in the bottom of a glass. Like it's definitely something strong.
Well, they were supervising 100 partygoers. They couldn't get slammed.
I'm impressed of the thickness of the walls at Buffy's place. Like that there's a band playing in like the next room, and they're having like a quiet drink in the kitchen. That's amazing.
This is totally something only a divorced parent would come up with as a plan to win back their kid. But it's also really sad that Pat's last drink on this planet is a schnapps. Poor Pat.
Well, she chose it. It seems like it was her idea. Scotch and empanadas are like her jam.
I love the empanadas line.
Yeah.
What would you write on her?
So I've always really disliked Pat when I've seen this episode before, but I kind of liked her now, and maybe it's just getting older or whatever.
No,
but
the
it's
episode
also
is so unfair to her.
Yeah. The only reason to dislike her is like she is a little forward with Buffy about shit. But like obviously she's just living her own life. She made a friend with Joyce. Like Joyce deserves to have some sort of friendship, right?
Yeah.
And I also
she's a good friend.
Don't take offense at this Mike, but she kind of reminded me of you because she's like always going to like book clubs or like doing this or this night. I was like, my friend Mike is always taking a class or doing something.
So Pat's line's really funny because she has this reference to Deep End of the Ocean too, and you guys know Deep End of the Ocean is that really sad Michelle Pfeiffer movie where the girl like she loses her kid and then the kid comes back like 20 years later or something crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna read the Pat line. Between your situation and reading Deep End of the Ocean, she was just a wreck. You can imagine. Well, I'm off. We're making empanadas in my Spanish class tonight.
Was Pat ever supposed to have a romantic relationship with Joyce at all?
Oh.
Did you ever?
I think that
obviously.
I didn't read that at all.
They do kiss right on the mouth.
Wait, they kiss?
Apparently, they kiss right on the mouth when they see each other. But apparently, I know because I've told like multiple people, "Oh, this is the next episode," and everybody I tell this to is like, "Oh, Pat and Joyce have a lot of fan fiction about themselves."
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I mean, I feel bad for Joyce also because like this is her only friend we've ever seen who wasn't a robot, and she too dies. Like Joyce is just having a hard time in Sunnydale.
I was going to say this is like a friend that she wants, but I think the friend wanted more. We don't ever get there because she dies, but I almost get like a little bit of vibe where it's just like really intimate. And maybe
I think they can just be friends.
They could just be friends, but it seems like we don't know enough about Pat to make that call.
I feel really bad for Pat. I think Pat is a good friend who's just like putting her friend first. She's like really like she's really empathizing. She gives her schnapps and she's like, "How are you doing, really?" And like is managing to like be present at this party where like a bunch of teenagers are going crazy and she's still like being present and there for her friend. Like, I think Pat is a good person and she does not deserve to get shoveled in the face.
I agree. This episode should be called The Martyrdom of Pat.
Pat deserves a funeral.
No, well, definitely not a funeral. Are you kidding me?
First ever
Let's
funeral on
not go
Buffy.
crazy. So during the to bring it back to where we were before about the emotional confrontation scene, Buffy yells out, "You at the dip, do you have anything to say?" And it's Jonathan. I was like, how does Buffy not know Jonathan's name at this point? Like, I 100% empathize with Buffy throughout this entire scene until she does not know Jonathan's name. That's too far.
I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that there's a lot going on, and that maybe it just interrupted the flow. But I feel
I laughed out loud when they did that. That was a hilarious cut to Jonathan.
Yeah,
Jonathan's so great.
This is a great.
I'm glad. Here's a question. Mike, would you have noticed like Jonathan if it wasn't for us like obsessing about every Jonathan appearance?
Well, he's kind of a regular character on this show. He's the regular bit character that's always abused.
He's so tiny. Did you see him holding that guitar upside down, which is taller than him?
Yeah, that is great. That is great. Him, like, he doesn't even hit anybody with the guitar. He just holds it protectively.
It's like they bought an extra big guitar for him to hold because he looks tiny holding that guitar. It's unreal.
Yes, I'd noticed Jonathan at this point, but I probably wouldn't know his name. I would agree with Buffy.
During the attack, Oz gets the titular line for the episode. He goes, "The dead man's party's moved upstairs." I just like it when characters say the name of the episode.
Have we had much of those? Because I feel like Buffy doesn't do that a lot.
Not too much, yeah.
I mean, technically, the Angel episode qualifies because she says his name during the episode.
And like the second episode, The Harvest, they definitely say the harvest is coming, right?
And then the last episode called Anne, and they say that name. So yes.
Yeah, and in Witch, they say witch a couple times.
Yeah.
I think usually they just don't have episodes that can really be noticeably title lines or actual lines of dialogue.
Did Buffy say a really smart catchphrase when she kills Pat, Demon Pat? I can't remember. Because she always has those like signature.
Here's mud in your eye.
Really? She should have said lights out.
My mom doesn't deserve friends. Yeah, lights out would be good.
I watched this episode 4 times and I still can't remember what she said.
Let's see. I said that Giles will do violence against Snyder for Buffy. I thought that scene was good.
Oh, Buffy's line is "made you look" when she stabs Pat in the eyes with a shovel.
It's not a great line, but
Pat deserves better.
Sorry, Mom.
Let's see. I also said last scene in the open air coffee shop in downtown Sunnydale. They're really showing off their new downtown Sunnydale set, which debuted last episode really quickly, I think, right? But they're really making use of it.
I gotta say, you know what?
I think when Buffy gets back into town, she walks through the new downtown set.
That's a Seattle's best coffee town. Because they're not at Starbucks, they're at Seattle's best coffee. So
yeah.
I got a Starbucks and a Seattle's best.
Yeah, the town can still claim it's one Starbucks.
Yep.
Let's see, Travis, I think we've covered everything you just said right there. So we are going to move on to questions for the group. Mike, you have the first question.
Yeah, so Xander's amazing Slayer name is Nighthawk. What would your Slayer name be? And by the way, I have come up with Slayer names for all of you, and also Old West names for no reason, because those are my go-to. So I have your Old West names also. Wow. But first, what do you think I should tell you what I think your Slayer names are, but you should guess first what yours would be.
I would like to be, if we're going to be birds, I think I'd like to be Nightjar, because Nightjar is a good bird.
Right, and the formula seems to be fear plus favorite animal.
Oh.
Well, in that case, I am
interesting. I was trying to pick a
Jitter
bird.
Salamander.
And I thought, like, There's an actual bird called like the screech owl, so I feel like that just works as it is. Like I'll come at the demons screeching, and they're also really small. I'm a short guy.
I
Trav,
don't know, something with a bug, or spider. Not Spider-Man, obviously. Couldn't get the rights, but you know,
why did nobody think Spider-Man?
So
right,
I did
Mike,
the
what's
formula
all
for
our,
me. I would be death chicken. That's my big fear.
Is that because your chickens die?
No, I am the death chicken.
Okay.
And then I made up. Okay, so I obviously the formula is figured out. So these are just dumb Slayer nicknames. John, yours is Landor, which just sounded like
That's not a bird.
No, this is. I didn't use the formula for these. I said that was the formula.
Landor.
Landor, you got this.
I'll go. I'll take it.
Dennis, you're going to be known as the Saint, probably. And Travis, they're going to call you Scalpel.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, these are all
Travis,
good, Mike.
you have the coolest name by far.
And then these are the Wild West nicknames. Travis, yours is Doc.
Yeah.
Because you help people. John's, yours is Teach, because you teach people. Dennis, yours is Bad Draw, because you're good at drawing, but not the right kind. And mine would be Virgin, because I'm a virgin. Buffy Virgin.
Wow.
These are my great.
Oh, wow, these are good.
Your Buffy Virgin reputation follows you even into the Old West.
I don't know why. I'm trying to get rid of it. Trying to shake it.
I guess in the Old West, everybody was a Buffy Virgin.
Oh man, can you imagine the generations of people who grew up not watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It's sad to think about. So I asked who moved Buffy's photo of her and her friends into the basement before she finds the dead cat. Like, was that Joyce, like, packing up Buffy's stuff? I don't know.
If you look at that photo, it's Willow, Buffy, and Xander's clutching Buffy's leg and putting his face on her leg. So I would have burned that myself if I was Buffy, because that is weird.
Maybe you're thinking Buffy put it in there because that photo makes her uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's
Right.
Good call.
It also makes her nostalgic now that it's dead, in this new context. But initially, she put it down there because she couldn't stand looking at it anymore.
She's like, why did I agree to that photo? Jesus. Mike, you ask John a question about the semantics of how to get expelled.
Yes, John. What happens when someone gets expelled, and who gets involved to unexpel? Is it?
I mean, we touched on this recently. I've never been involved in an expulsion, but I can tell you that it is a very involved process, and it is definitely not something that the principal can do unilaterally by just saying so. The way that Snyder seems to do.
Does the mayor get involved?
Not. I don't think so. I don't think the mayor gets involved.
That would be interesting.
I think, yeah. But expelling a kid, because the thing that Giles says is absolutely right, that you have a right to a public education, and it's really, really complicated to try to take that away from somebody, as it well should be.
There's that Simpsons episode where Bart gets expelled for a prank, right? And then he has to go to like a religious school, and then he gets home taught by his mom. They could have done that as a Buffy episode. They touch on it.
I think Buffy homeschooling would make a great AU.
Yeah. Mike, you ask, what are your favorite regular dude things? USA Today, golf, etc.
So the regular dude reference to the Giles, they're like talking about regular dude things that Giles might do, like golf and USA Today, because he's not a regular dude. Because instead he's he's got the cat in the cage, the undead cat that's maybe becoming his friend. But yeah,
khakis. That's a good regular guy thing, right?
I thought that's funny because I'd forgotten about that reference. I was thinking it was a reference to earlier when Buffy's like, I just want to go shopping and talk about boys and slay, regular girl stuff.
So the line that Cordelia has is, nice pet, Giles. Don't you like anything regular? Golf or USA Today or anything? And I was like, what kind of regular things do you guys like? And John says khakis.
Yeah, I don't know. USA Today is a great reference because USA Today is a great example of something no one likes. I don't think anybody's like, fuck yeah, USA Today. That doesn't happen.
I would say that are some good USA Today reporters, I believe. Specialty. I think their aviation reporter is pretty good, but I can't remember exactly.
That is not a regular thing, being into aviation, by the way.
Aviation reporter?
I'd say the regular
People like planes, okay? Everyone likes planes because you know what?
The regular guy stuff I think I like that's really normal is like bowling. I really enjoy bowling. I'll go bowling anytime anyone suggests it. I've never really played a game of golf, but we have a putting range at work, and I don't have any long game at all because I've never really like tried to hit a ball a distance, but my short game is pretty good just because I get to do that at work a little bit.
Wait, stop, back up, because I think you're burying the lead here. There is a Charles Schultz putt course.
It's not putt. I mean, it doesn't have like the characters really large or anything. There's just a putting green. My work is kind of weird. I have like an indoor tennis court and an outdoor tennis court. We have like an ice arena, and we have like a baseball field and stuff because Charles Schultz really likes sports. So we have this kind of weird.
That's wild.
Setup.
And who primarily uses that? Is it you and the other artists?
The tennis court you kind of have to be invited to by a genie. The ice arena is open and is probably like more well known than the museum and stuff. Like every time I tell somebody I work there, they're like, "Oh, I went to that ice arena as a kid." Like they have like, senior hockey tournaments and stuff. I get to ice skate on it free. I haven't done it yet because I haven't ice skated since I was like in my early 20s.
Wow, I feel like you've got all of your first dates figured out.
Yeah, just. I could do them at lunch and
yeah, get them done exactly.
All these first.
All right, I gotta go to work. Bye.
At the rec center kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I was going to say regular guy things that I like. Polo shirts.
Oh, polo shirts are awful, Mike. Don't like that.
I like M&Ms. Potato chips.
Yeah, I like potato chips.
All right, good call.
You wanted us to list like regular guy things we like?
Yeah.
I don't like khakis.
Oh.
Like
wait, what did you think? You're just trying to pick regular guy things?
Yeah, like what a regular guy's like.
Yeah, John, what regular stuff do you like? You like drinking like water and stuff.
Yeah, I like you know what I like? I like Coca-Cola Classic in a can. That's like deeply great.
You like sandwiches, don't you?
Yeah, but that's really vague.
All right. I feel like food is a very large category since that's been brought up. We could just say, like, I have average taste in food.
Oh, but that doesn't make sense. No, you have to list the specifics. Like, I like Starbucks coffee. Like, that's okay. That is a totally average, basic thing. I guess what we're really trying to find is, are we, basic?
How basic are we?
How basic are we?
I'm a giant hipster about every goddamn thing ever.
Also,
I have been since I was very small.
That's why this question's so fascinating for you to answer, John.
Yeah, it's a hard question.
Guy thing.
Yeah,
John likes tons of regular guy things. You know what? I took him. We went and we had crepes. That's not technically regular, but John totally eats regular food.
But you love brunch. Brunch is fairly regular, right?
John likes coffee.
I do like coffee. I guess if that's a regular guy thing, I do like coffee.
He reads
the Washington beer?
Post.
I do like beer.
Regular.
Yeah, I read the Washington Post. I guess that's regular. I don't know. Not really. I don't know.
No, USA Today is the only paper in regular guy world. There's no other papers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Washington Post. That's a liberal.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're okay.
I wear Dickies.
Oh man. Oh really?
Yeah.
Is that pants or is that shoes?
The pants.
And I got to hit you up with a YouTube link because there's this one guy who shot a bunch of portraits of people who wear Dickies. It's really cool. It's like large format, 8x10. Or no, yeah, I think it's large format.
Okay, how about like taking my car to the car wash? That's a regular thing. I like that.
You like actually enjoy it? You do it recreationally?
I mean, when it happens, I'm happy about it.
Huh.
I don't mind.
It's nice to have a clean car. John doesn't even have a car. He can't relate to this at all.
Yeah, sorry.
Public transportation.
I think, does John like putting things in file cabinets? He's got a file cabinet behind him.
Yeah, but it's not files. It's like art supplies.
John likes the internet.
No, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I like breathing and not dying
I thought you
every
were going to say
day.
Brie again. I thought you were going
It,
to be like,
it can't be under those Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's like those can't be the regular guy things. Those are.
No, I agree. I agree. What's the what are the symbols of conformity
John
that I
listens
identify
to
with?
sometimes.
I do like the Beatles. That's a good one. I like the Beatles.
I don't even listen to
That's
the
a
Beatles.
good one. I like the Beatles.
He likes John McCartney, right? Or McCarthy? I'm not sure which one.
Who? McCartney. Paul McCartney.
Oh, Paul McCartney. Yes. Yes.
What? Bruce Springsteen? How about that?
I like Bruce Springsteen quite a bit. I do. Yes. I like the Beatles and Bruce Springsteen. And what else is really, really boring?
Do you like classic rock?
I do like classic rock.
Do you have blue jeans in your closet?
No, I threw away all my pants that are not black Dickies at one point. There's only one kind of pants that I own anymore.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's smart.
Yeah, seriously, you Superman your outfits as much as you can. That is totally the way to do it.
Dude, I gotta show you this link about the Dickies.
Yeah, I've only got one kind of socks and one kind of underwear. It's great.
Yeah, that's how you live life.
Everything is interchangeable.
Because it's all the same.
All right. Yep. Travis asks, does anyone have special dinner plates?
I get to say what stuff that's normal that I like.
Oh, sorry. Wait, I'm sorry.
Everyone got to say their normal thing.
Sorry, we just stayed on this conversation for so long. I thought we could move on, but okay.
I just want to clarify.
Travis, what do you like that's normal? You said Starbucks.
I said I like tons of basic things. I drink Starbucks. I drive a car. I don't own any blue jeans anymore. That's a downside. I take walks outside. I watch cat videos sometimes.
I love that you watch cat videos. I love that I think you told me that the other day, like you were confessing to being into normal shit. You're like...
I do like planes. That's a thing that you all think is like, so out there. But let me tell you, hundreds of millions of people per year travel on airplanes, okay?
Flying on airplanes is not weird, Travis. Listening to a podcast about planes every day and then listening to certain episodes repeatedly, that is a little bit tweaked. And it's not, I love it about you. I'm not judging you. But it's not fair to call that normal.
I think
just because some people like to go on planes sometimes.
I feel like we got different things going on because like John is like the dude who like actively tries to not be like normal, and Travis is the guy who just genuinely can't register what's normal and what's not, and just loves what he loves. Because like the other day when we were talking about Buffy seasons, this stuck with me, John. You were like, everybody likes Buffy season 3 the most, therefore it's like my least favorite season. Or like, that's exaggerating what you said, but you're like, it can't be my favorite season. It's everybody's favorite season. And it's like you're saying you want to be outside of the mainstream for like the Buffy community. Like,
yeah. I don't know why everybody doesn't have that instinct.
Yeah. All right. I guess we're done with me. I like plenty of normal things. I'm just putting that out there.
All right. Trav, that's the next question. Sorry, Mike.
We can go. We already answered that question.
I have special dinner plates. I inherited them from my mom.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I thought we're on a different question. Yeah. I was going to guess who had them because I was going to buy some special dinner plates when I move eventually. So I was going to guess that I would probably own them, and then I thought Mike might because he was married, and then I wouldn't have guessed you, Dennis. So that was surprising.
I have 2 sets. I inherited some from my grandma and some from my mom. So
I only have one plate. That way, like I threw away all but one.
Oh, I knew you didn't have any.
It's true. I have one plate that like I can't have the dishes pile up ever. It's a new strategy I'm working with. I have one plate, one fork, one spoon.
It's a very legit strategy.
Which is a really good system because then you can never have your dishes pile up.
Exactly.
By yourself. It's a good system.
Do you go to that blog called 24 Things or whatever it's called? It's where you can only have 24 items in your apartment.
No, because my strategy is more like I have one plate, but I have like 115 different USB cables. I mean, it's not like I'm not really a minimalist. You can see my fucking apartment.
Yeah.
I have a special set of silverware that was a gift when I got married from my aunt. So that's special silverware that we almost don't use because it's polished. You have to polish it silver, real silver.
And that'll be great for when the werewolves come.
Yeah, we'll just melt that shit down or use it as we'll get some gun we build that just shoots anything. Be fine.
Yeah, I have silver that was like my grandma's. That's like it's fancy.
But my dad did this weird thing where he got special plates and then took pleasure in using them all the time. So it was like a weird thing where he's like, I got these really nice plates. They're all genuine porcelain, what my dad would do.
Yeah.
Genuine porcelain. Let's use these for everything. And so nice plates became the standard plates.
I get that. That makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
But he knew he was bucking the trend on the regular plates, nice plates.
Yeah, I get it. That's cool.
He's a rebel.
He also has like a bunch of teapots he doesn't use. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say he bought these plates and then hid them.
No.
In the wall.
That's what I thought also. Like hid them in the walls. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be more your dad's MO. Would be like a weird plate stash.
Though, whenever I'm at a Goodwill and I see those collector's plates, though, I always want to pick them up because I feel like that would be really fun to have. But they don't microwave, and my wife thinks it's tacky. But if I lived alone, I would have some plates.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong about the collector's plates being tacky.
What about those Star Trek plates I brought up offline or whatever, or online? Would you pick those up?
I don't really want a bunch of Star Trek stuff. I love Star Trek a lot, but I'm not gonna fill my life.
You don't want to be that branded? Is that the issue?
No, I don't know. Like collecting feels kind of hollow.
Did you get rid of both your spoons and your forks, and you just have sporks?
I haven't gone that far. I have one fork, one knife, and one spoon, and then I
could get rid of all my forks and spoons and just have sporks. We don't have that.
I don't know. I mean, a spork makes a crappy fork.
Depends on what you're forking.
It does.
It's enough.
It's just not. I don't know. Not down with the spork.
So I asked the next question. I say, Xander and Cordelia have some really terrible PDA in this episode. What's your worst incident of PDA?
I had a Palm Pilot once. So that was not great.
That is terrible, John. I feel like if I'm being honest, have a bad history of making out at parties and stuff.
You do?
Yeah, it's been known to happen. It's been something people have told me I'm terrible about.
Dude, live it up. Who gives a shit? I mean,
but it is
if you're
awful
making
to
out at
watch.
a party, you've already accomplished what the point of being at a party is, right? So you win. So that's a dusty answer, but still.
I feel like this is. So I remember when I first moved to Florida to be with Elizabeth, to live with Elizabeth, to be with Elizabeth, and we went to Disney World, and that was where she worked, and I was so excited to see her, but she was like she was like, listen, Michael, the mouse has ears and eyes, which is true because I didn't realize it, but at any given moment in the park, you're surrounded by park employees who probably might know you from places, and you don't
plain clothes park employees, right?
Well, so many people who are at the parks are park employees because that's one of the benefits is you get there for free, and so people talk, stuff gets around. So she's like, I was like, I was not trying to be crazy intimate, but she was, she's like, definitely don't kiss me here. She was being very protective of her image, and it was like the reverse PDA thing. But I don't have the party makeout. I think in college it was bad. Probably the worst is in college, in terms of your bad PDA behavior, because you're so excited that someone will be with you. But now, being married and for 3 years and together for the same one for 14 years, we don't have crazy PDA problems. Nothing that I think anyone's really brought up. But people wouldn't bring that up, would they? They wouldn't be like, hey, that PDA, can you bring it down?
It's been brought up to me before. Maybe if your friends are really honest with you, they're like, Dennis, you're terrible at PDA. You need to not have a girlfriend anymore.
like how this question is totally tough for us because we all went to separate colleges except for John and Dennis. And yeah, I've made out on the Amtrak train before, so that sounds.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's hot.
I feel like I was
John, what?
Good for you.
Yeah, you traveled across an Amtrak, so John probably did that too.
Oh yeah, John, I'm sure you made out on Amtrak way more than me. You were on one for 5 days. Or 7 days.
Not on Amtrak, actually. Yeah, that didn't really figure into it. Harriet's very shy. That would have been like a nightmare for her. But I have made out on a Greyhound, which is gross.
I'm glad you shared that story because I'm like, you know what would be even worse than an Amtrak? Oh man, I've made out on a plane before too, right? Well, not really made out, but I've kissed someone on a plane. But you were on a Greyhound?
Yeah, I've been on Greyhounds a lot of times.
That's true.
I was bound to make out eventually, and
on to themes and deep stuff. Mike, you say, I think we've all moved around the country at different times. What hurts the most when you move to a new town? Oh, sorry. What hurts the most when you move to a new town or when you come back to an old town?
Oh, I guess I didn't mean it the initial inflection. What hurts most when you move to a new town?
Oh, I think it's the worst when you move to a new town and you're still in school and stuff, and it's just like hard to come to a new school. I think moving to a new town as an adult is easier because you have work or you have a reason to be there or something, and you're like less wrapped up in social stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I moved around a bunch. So I lived in Orlando, and I'm now in Portland, Oregon. And every time you move, man, it's like it's like hard, and like definitely there's a lot of heartache with moving to Portland. I was excited to move to a new place. Having a work was helpful, but like you have all of the place and all the stuff in your heart is like kind of figured out for you, where it's like, oh, I know who my friends are, and then you come here and you're like, I don't have space for you guys, you new people. I've already made the space. Oh, those people aren't around. I guess I gotta actually move on, because then like
that's true. Yeah.
The best feeling in the world is coming back to Old Town that you left after like that first year. When you come back, people are really excited to see you. But then after that, it's so painful because they've all moved on. And you'll stay with a friend maybe, or you try to stay with a friend. So this is like after you've been gone to a place you live for a while, and like it's just everything's different and everybody's moved on with their lives. Whatever group of friends that you were part of doesn't exist anymore because you were the glue maybe to some extent, or they're changed or splintered in some ways. So you're like, oh, those people aren't really friends. I guess I kind of forced them to be friends, maybe. Just that like weird feelings. So the coming back resonated with me in this episode, where it's like when everyone was upset. And while that hasn't never happened to me, I've never had that confrontation. Internally, I felt that confrontation of like, oh, you don't have space for me right now because you're in a relationship with someone and you weren't before, or your life circumstances change. I mean, as an adult, it's mostly like you wake up and then your friend has a kid or something, and then they don't have time anymore. So that's like the story 30 to 36 of just.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad none of you guys have kids.
So it's like, who is this fictional person who has a kid, Mike? Who the hell is this?
I know who you're talking about. I know your friend. No, I totally agree. Like, I think everything in life is awkward and tough, basically. But I mean, like, I've been to Bloomington a couple times in the last few years, and I've mostly gone because of my friend David Yoder, who I wasn't even friends with when I lived in Bloomington. But there's like, that's a town that changes a lot because it's a college town, and like, it's really like trying to like hold on to nostalgia of a place like that is like, trying to like run on the beach or whatever, or trying to like hold on to quicksand. Like, because shit happens, people move and stuff. And yeah, your friends who don't move have kids and stuff, and then can't see you when you're visiting, and you're like, all right, it's fine.
Just
it's fine that you have kids.
Just never go back. Always keep swimming. Always look forward. Never look back.
Keep swimming. Yeah, you're totally right. Just like it's tough to move. Like it's emotionally draining. Like the act of packing even is hard.
It's worse to move when if you're single. That's the worst to move, to be honest, when you're single.
Why is it the worst?
Well, because you make all these alone decisions that remind you that you're totally alone.
Well, but if you're single for a long time, as I am, like you get used to that kind of like going to the movies alone used to bother me, but I don't even think twice about it. Or eating at a restaurant alone, totally a normal thing I do. Like,
but it's like, you
learn to function as a single.
Do this, do that. I don't know. It sort of just reinforces the obvious.
Yeah, the one thing I won't do alone is bowling. I won't bowl alone. That's too sad.
The thing that gets to me is like it's not even like one move being hard. It's the sum total of all of them. Like just like right now, like I'm living in one place and eventually going to be somewhere pretty far away. But it's like I'm going to miss these people. I'm going to miss those people. I miss you guys. I miss my family. But like after the sum total of like 4 or 5 moves or whatever it's been at this point, it's like, even if I wanted to live in a place like and make the decision based on like, well, who do I love and how do I be close to people I love? Like you can't even do it. Like there's not even like a place like you move somewhere that's like equidistant from all the people that you care about. That puts you in
Portland.
Like Montana.
Like, and everyone you love is in Portland.
There are a couple people in Portland who truly love you, John. Just remember that.
Well, I know, but like there's also people other places that I really care about. And like it's just like you can't like you actually can't make
choose Portland.
I don't think I'm going to move to Portland, fellas. I'm sorry.
I know you're the friend of us who's going to have to make the next big move. I mean, all of us. So
Dennis is going to move, right? I mean, Dennis is going to move probably just closer to.
Yeah, but I'm moving. I'm moving within this. This is actually interesting to me because I've done like apartment jumps and stuff, but I've never really moved from one city to another, but in the same area. Like, because I usually do make larger moves, like halfway across the country. Or all the way across the country. So yeah, this will be like a move that, if anything, positively affects my social life because I'll be closer to friends and stuff. Yeah, when that eventually happens. Maybe that's why I'm hesitating, is I'm not used to moves being positive. It's hard for me to comprehend.
Right, everything's supposed to get worse when you move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but I already like everything I do is in Santa Rosa. Like, I mean, just like little things, like it's like where I take my car. It's like, it's easier for me to grocery shop in Santa Rosa, even though I live in Santa Elena. Like, I just buy beer in Santa Elena.
But there's nowhere that's like the best place, like John was saying. Like, where can you go that satisfies all these things? Like, if for instance, I live to be near my mom, which I wouldn't.
Hold on, but that's because of our that's because of like modern life. It's true. Like, so that I think the feeling that there's no good place is because of the stupid society we have, and also all of our families. Not that they're bad people, but I think it's because they're all divorced, all the parents. So that makes like once that genie's out of the bottle when it comes to moving, then you're done. Then you're right. There's 0 places you can move. There's not like, oh, everyone still lives in our hometown. Come back to our small village. Doesn't happen.
No, good point, dude. All of our parents moved, right? So like once your parents move, it's over as far as like there's no place because you're set your internal whatever destination and it doesn't work anymore.
Your internal clock, your internal GPS.
Yeah, like my dad's still in Dayton, but that place is so different now that that would be hard. And my mom's moved a lot. She's now in North Carolina and she's going to move again to Maryland probably. Like I have so many phone numbers and addresses for her more than anybody else. Like she moves a lot and she's me in the future. You know what I mean? Like she moves a lot.
I mean, the only thing that would make sense is if we could all, move to one spot. I mean, I guess if Mike and I move back to our hometown where some of our family still live.
No, don't do this. No, there's no reason.
No, I think this is I am really
I feel like
this plan.
I feel like Travis is finally bringing up what his plot has been for the last like 10 years of friendship. Has been like the full friendship move. We all knew you were pitching it, and here it finally is.
No, I'm
but
down with this, Travis.
I'm just going to ask the next question.
Wait, have you guys seen the
Travis,
price of Dayton
you
real estate?
asked.
It's so cheap. It's such a good deal. We can all afford houses in Dayton, right?
I told my family I was moving to Portland because Mike lived here. They're like, "Oh, that's great." I just can't convince anyone else to do this crazy move.
I think we all move to Dayton. That's the plan.
I would move to Portland if I didn't have this job, honestly. But
I believe.
like, I got a lot of friends in Portland. It's weird. My old roommate just moved to Portland. But would that upset you if I moved to Portland and then hung out with cartoonists? Would that like make you jealous, Trav?
No, I would love you anyways because I'm always working. And
All right.
Oh yeah,
deserve
Travis
someone to
doesn't have any
spend
time to hang out anyway, so it's
You
fine.
deserve someone
So
to
I got to
spend-
make other friends. All right. Travis asks, how do you deal when your friends are in a relationship? Which is maybe kind of part of this big, long conversation we're having about what exactly our friendship is and how much we demand of each other.
No,
I like that you don't say, like, when you were in high school, how did you deal with your friends in a relationship? You, like, ask this question now.
That would be like 10 hours.
I feel like I've died and I'm in heaven or hell, and everything I did in high school is now I'm being judged for in like extended overtime sometimes. Anyway,
I only said this because Buffy is having to deal with Willow and Oz's relationship and then Xander and Cordelia's relationship, and both the relationships kind of suck hard. Like Willow and Oz.
What? No, Willow and Oz are great. I love Willow and Oz.
Makes like a big deal. Like she makes like her thing a big deal, and it's like, dude, it's like a pretty normal relationship. It feels, but then the whole, anyways. Yeah, I know this can.
She's a witch and he's a werewolf. That is a weird kinky thing.
They make it work. What's that?
Oh man, speaking of kinky, one of the notes I wrote that I didn't put in the notes, and I forget what it was. It was probably about something Cordelia said, but I'm like, this show is kinky. Like I forget. I don't remember how kinky this show gets. And we're still in season 3. It's only going to get kinkier. Not to spoil anything, but like
I know the line.
No predictions about that, Mike.
The line is something like Cordelia's like, "You'd like me to tie you up, wouldn't you?"
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, please don't be joking." It's like, first of all, high schoolers don't need to be tied up to like get off because they're high schoolers.
Yeah.
Like linoleum turns them on. But
All right, Dad, tell him.
What's the altruistics line about linoleum? Oh, don't say
linoleum's a new pornography.
The altruistics were really a band ahead of their time. Let's just say that.
Should have played at the Bronze.
The altruistics.
Oh man, if we played at the Bronze, if the altruistics played at the Bronze, they would die.
You know what? If
they
I
would
could
be
get
the band that gets staked.
SD footage of you guys or HD footage of you guys in front of a green screen, we can make it happen.
All right. Next question.
Travis, do you want to say it? Or?
How do you break the ice with the friend you're having a disagreement with? Because that's central to this episode.
You don't. You sublimate your feelings and you don't talk about them for years and years and years.
Yes, I agree. You do that until you blow up. Either that or you get drunk. Those are the only options.
Dennis and I, we have the Catholic background. We understand how it's done.
Yeah. Any other answers? I don't think so. Move on. Travis, you ask. What do you think of this episode without a big bad? I said this episode does have a big bad. It's got that zombie demon.
What? So I want to break. I want to do a bunch of spoilers right now about this episode, because there's no big overarching bad to the season yet. So
we're in season 2. We're in episode 2.
Yeah.
Well, you mean that this episode doesn't have an overarching bad guy floating within it?
Yeah. So basically, this is kind of a rare moment in time where Buffy, in season 1 and season 2, they kind of exist in a world where there isn't something horrible trying to kill them, aka someone trying to put them in hell or push them in hell or, make the Hellmouth, show up. So it's a really great moment in time. And it's a really rare moment in time, actually, because I guess this is all like a mini spoiler warning, because the show becomes really dependent on overarching season arcs.
But I think every season begins without a bad guy, without a big bad.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is that, like, we're back to no big bad right now.
Yes, this is a Monster of the Week episode.
No, the season 2 had a big bad like for constantly, even if they didn't refer to it, because it was like the anointed one at the start of season 2.
And then we had Spike and Drusilla. Yeah, I mean, there were big. So
an Angel turned in the end, right, and it kind of heated up. But initially,
yeah, I guess I was thinking that season 2 doesn't officially have a big bad until Angel turns, but he joins Spike and Drew. Spike and Drew are the big bad before that.
3 episodes. For the first 2 episodes, there's no big bad, right? So what I'm saying is, like, it's a really cool episode within its own cinematic universe, where the characters have grown older, they've evolved, it's kind of a hopeful time in some ways, because we know based upon the Buffy seasons 1 and 2 so far that there's probably going to be a multi-episode arc of a big bad coming, right? We can expect that. That's totally reasonable. But this is kind of this really hopeful moment in time where the only thing that they have to fight is just normal stuff, which is
their own inner demons, and also some outside demons.
Yeah, both inside and outside demons, which we've all tackled, okay, clearly. But it's just a really fun moment where things aren't too bad. That's what I'm trying to say. I could take this for like 20 or 30 episodes. I think that's where I'm getting at.
You just want more freeform monsters, not...
I want more freeform monsters and more attempts to deal with normal life without an overarching episode arc for a big bad.
Yes, I agree. I think I feel like that about every show I watch. Like, I want there to be more episodes where they don't do anything, where they just sort of sit around and you see daily life. Like, there's a great Next Generation episode, Data's Day, where like nothing happens and you just sort of see day-to-day life on the Enterprise.
He has an active day that day. It's more active than normal.
It is, yeah. They don't quite follow through on the idea, but the idea is like a quotidian day on the Enterprise, and I think that's
the kind of thing you can only really do after you've already really established the show's structure and the characters and stuff. And it is a pleasure when it happens. And there will be episodes of Buffy that like just follow a character. It happens.
That's true.
No, there are. But I guess what I'm just trying to say is that things, again, are going to change.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like without spoilers. But obviously, if you have the Buffy season 3 disc 1 and you put it into your DVD player, there are spoilers on the menu for Buffy season 3 disc 1. So it depends on how you're watching it. But
which we will talk about next episode.
How are you watching it, Mike?
I'm watching it on Hulu, and I was about to watch the episode 3. And then Elizabeth's like, you should wait till you've done the podcast first. This is a big one.
I'm glad.
It is.
But
we're very excited for next episode. But before we get into next episode, let's move on to predictions.
I want to come in on Travis's thing for a second.
Yeah, please.
It's like I feel like that, Travis, you're articulating it really well here. That like this is what we're nostalgic for, right? About the 90s. Right, which is these shows where nothing happens, where there's no over like ongoing arc, where it's like, here's the world of this show doing its thing, dealing with a problem or an issue, and then next time we'll deal with something else. And doesn't matter what happened this episode. Doesn't matter that Pat was murdered. That doesn't mean Pat's gonna be a super monster in 6 more episodes. It wasn't like a red herring. And I appreciate that. I mean, I smiled a lot watching the show. It was fun. I didn't have a sense of tension that I'm sure we'll have a sense of tension forever afterwards.
Yeah, I think with Buffy it's fun because it's a show that was ahead of its time in the sense it took really insane plot risks, or it took really dramatic turns of plot, it feels like, which was new for the time, and had large overarching stories that now is super common. But I feel that oftentimes it would give too much to the overarching story and not enough to the plot of the week. This is in contra against, shows like Friends at the time, which were very much episodic, or Cheers, or Roseanne, which were huge shows. We ever watched many more times than Buffy, of course. But they had plenty of one-off episodes and a little bit of overarching plot. Maybe Roseanne had more overarching plot than Cheers, but I'm just saying it feels like if you had to create your own what you would desire, I feel as if the show eventually became way too much overarching plot and not enough single episodes. Although you still had them, so I don't know what I'm complaining about, but I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm going to shut up.
All right. No, it's good talk. Move on to predictions.
Definitely should.
Okay.
Are there predictions to resolve?
Not really. The only one that I could find to talk about was, where did it go? Oh yeah. So this one is kind of iffy, and we'll have to get a vote from the judges on it. Way back in episode 2 of season 2, so a whole season ago, Mike predicted that Cordelia will strike back and become a vampire-killing badass. Now, I don't really feel like this qualifies, but maybe, I figure we discuss it. Dennis says no.
I think all she does is hold off a zombie, right?
Yeah.
I don't see her doing
Well, at the beginning,
major.
she's got her jacket on, and she's kind of trying.
I think she's trying, yeah. And I respect the try, but I feel like Mike was predicting something specific.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
That didn't come to pass yet.
She's not a badass yet.
Okay, so we're going to have to say that one is still open. It could still happen, but not this time. Yeah, I think that's the only one. Mike predicted that Buffy and Angel will only ever get together in their dreams. This continues to be an issue, but they haven't really gotten together, and we can't say that's the only way they'll ever get together. So that one continues to be open. Mike's score it remains a 73. So we didn't really talk about this last episode, but Mike's score is currently at a 73. So he's getting down into like C- territory. He's not his trend is not upward.
The trick is to keep making predictions, John.
Yes, agree.
So I'm predicting Buffy will have 3 more dreams about Angel. 3 more.
Specifically, like exactly 3?
Oh, she's going to have more dreams about Angel. And that's like the dream sequence of season 3 is about Angel. And I think something supernatural. Okay, separate prediction. So
wait, hold on. You're predicting there will be more dreams with Angel in them.
Yeah, at least 3 more dreams with Angel in them.
Wait, at least 3?
Yeah. 3 or more dreams.
So if there's
Angel.
2, that's denied.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool.
And this is you guys think this is crazy, but I think there's a possibility something supernatural is causing these dreams of Angel to happen. We're going to get to the source of these dreams. Why is she dreaming so much about Angel? And maybe it's just love, but I think there's something weird going on. This would be a great way for him to communicate with her from hell, where he is through the dreams. Because Angel has this weird sensibility where he's kind of confused about what's going on in these dreams. I feel like there's a sense of a little bit of alertness about his character, and maybe that's just the way it's being written, but it's fun. He could communicate to her from hell in dreams. All planned parties will be run over by demons. So they plan the party, and it gets run over by zombies. I mean monsters. I know demons is a subcategory. I just mean any monsters in general. All parties, and I'll be very specific, will be run over by monsters. So if there's a moment where they're like, let's have a party, let's celebrate someone's birthday. Oh, let's show Buffy how much we care, whatever, and have a party. Oh, there's going to be a prom coming up. Any party where there's any planning, a notice about it happening, will be run over by monsters. This is a rule. This is not even a prediction. It's just a rule for writing Buffy.
I feel like that is a really safe prediction. Good job,
like it,
Mike.
Though. That's a good prediction. And then you said Buffy's going to get back into school?
Yep. Buffy's going to get back in school. I don't know why this show is pretending that it's challenging. Just get her back in school. The Snyder reveling in it like we're going to go to the mayor or the Supreme Court to get it overturned is insane. Just get her back in school.
Excellent. Is that all your predictions, Mike?
I got one more. Giles and Joyce are going to have a non-sexual hangout in season 3.
Describe non-sexual hangout. What is that? How you describe when we hang out?
Yeah. When we hang out, it's non-sexual. She had a real angry interchange with him.
I don't know. I've seen Write a Story.
So Giles and Joyce had an angry kind of connection last episode, where Giles was Joyce was getting into Giles a little bit about their relationship, and they're going to have they were supposed to have a dinner party, which I thought was going to be much quieter, not a big party, but and now that Pat's dead, I think Giles and Joyce have a chance to be friends, and there's going to be a friendship hangout. Maybe it'll be it seems like Joyce's scenes are always at her house, but maybe it'll be somewhere else. Anyway.
Oh man, what if Joyce is a ghost and she can't exist outside of the house and we just don't know it? Prediction.
Is that Dennis's predictions?
It's just a unique read.
All right.
Those are Dennis's what ifs.
Want to move into my kill counts?
Wait, no, we're not going to move in because we're not going to move on to anything because Mike, did you bring 1d6? He remembered. I'm so happy. He's rummaging around for his die. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have one because we're the other.
Both John and I have dice rolling apps, so
yep, we're ready to go. I've got mine. It's right here.
Okay, roll your digital dice.
Okay. Oh, okay. Digital one.
So yeah, I put the dice aside.
All right, here we go.
I can't find it.
Did you swallow the dice?
Cats knock shit off. It's probably on the floor.
All right, I'm rolling it. Mike, you rolled a 3. Do you know what that means?
That
so
means
you need
prediction related to a character that only appeared in this episode?
No, actually, that was 2. We already did that one, so I actually swapped that one out for a different question because I don't want to repeat these too much. But 3 means I need you to choose a recurring character who's in this episode, but not one of the major characters, so not somebody who appears in the opening credits. So you can choose anybody who is in this episode who's recurring, right? But who's not one of the main characters. Okay? Got it?
Okay.
So we actually did this one already, and you chose Joyce. So that would be an example of somebody who's a recurring character, but not a main character, right? So your options might be Jonathan comes to mind, obviously. But does anybody have anybody else? Snyder could be one, right?
But with Snyder, don't they say? I guess they show his name, but Armin Shimmerman, whatever. Shimmerman.
Yeah, but he's not part of the opening credits. He's not it doesn't appear pictorially in the opening credits, right? So, who else would be an option, guys?
Amy.
Yeah, who's Amy?
She's a classmate, right?
No, but somebody who appears in this episode.
Oh, in this episode.
Okay.
He's the guitar guy.
The singer for Dingoes.
Oh
yeah. He's been in more than one episode.
Okay,
so you can pick any one of those characters.
Pick Jonathan.
Yes.
Okay, now you need to predict, Mike. How will Jonathan exit the show? Does he die? Does he survive all 7 seasons? Is he written off in some other way, or does he simply just stop appearing at some point? How do we get rid of Jonathan?
So I know Buffy and the gang are going to go to college. Jonathan is not going to college with them.
Okay. So does that mean we just never see him again? He just simply is written off?
After they graduate from high school. This is what happens to high school students, John. This is going to shock you. When you leave high school, you don't see him again. That'll be it.
I mean, that has not been true for me.
When they graduate from high school, Jonathan's not coming with them.
Okay, and that's it. We just it's not like it's not ceremonious. We just simply never see him again.
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna write that prediction down. It's a good prediction.
Clearly wrong because you guys are all straight faced. Clearly wrong.
I didn't trust my poker face for this, so I unhooked my thing and walked away. So I don't know what your prediction was.
Nice. Kill count recommendations.
All right. We have a pretty high kill count. So what I did this episode, because I could technically count every zombie twice, but I only counted every zombie once, but I counted the zombie demon. I counted Pat twice because she's both a zombie human and a demon. So we have 1 vampire, 1 cat, 16 humans, and 1 zombie demon. So pretty high kill count. Season 3 is really starting out with strong numbers. And then recommendations also were kind of tough this episode just because it's like the first real zombie episode we've ever done. So I'm actually going to, after I give my recs, I'm going to throw out to you guys to recommend your favorite zombie movie. Zombie movies are a little tough just because like there's so many of them. Because the thing is like zombie movies are really popular for like a long time, and it's really easy to make them. Like even non-horror makers make a zombie movie. And I've already recommended a couple. So I've already recommended Cemetery Man, aka De La Morte de l'Amor. I might have already recommended Dead Girl, but it's not on the letterbox. But I think I recommended it earlier.
It is on the letterbox. You did recommend it.
Okay, it is. All right. So I'm going to recommend
From Some Assembly Required.
two.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to recommend Night of the Creeps and Night of the Demons because they're both zombie movies that involve zombies attacking parties specifically. So that's how I made that tiny selection. But there's just so many zombie movies and stuff. So I want all of you guys to recommend one zombie movie also.
Dead Alive I'm surprised we haven't brought that up yet. That's obviously a classic. / Brain Dead that's the other title for it, right? That's a great movie.
Yeah. Good choice.
And there's a zombie party in that, sort of, right?
There is, yeah. The zombies invade a party. Yes,
Yeah.
Good call. Anyone else?
Hold on. I'm looking for my recommendation.
Okay. Both John and I worked on a zombie movie called Dream of the Dead. I don't know if that's available anywhere.
Okay. I didn't really do any work on that.
But I'm a zombie in it.
That's right.
So I've got two recommendations. One is called Bio Zombie. And
yes, I'm hoping you would bring that up.
You might I made us watch it, and it's a really fun movie. It's a Hong Kong cinema made in the late 90s, and it takes place in a mall, and it's really funny. And actually really feels like it is the plot of the movie, plot of the video game Dead Rising is ripped off of Bio Zombie, but whatever. So that's a really fun movie.
It's like Hong Kong Bill and Ted versus zombies. It's great.
Yes. Shaun of the Dead is a great movie.
Oh, I've seen that movie. Yeah, it is good.
And then I'll say two more, and then I would say I think season 2 of Grimm has a big zombie theme to it overall. So obviously I recommend Grimm all the time on this podcast. Here's another good reason. And then Night of the Living Dead was important because they did not copyright. We talked about this, I think. They didn't submit it for copyright, so that's why we have all this great zombie lore and movies. Was because of an accident, apparently. Something like that. Dennis could probably explain it better than me.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. It's also just a really good movie.
No, it's good, but
and it is the first time that people start using zombies in the way they're used now. It's because before that, in like I Walk with a Zombie and White Zombie, the zombies are specific possessed things that like a necromancer can use that they don't spread as an infection, and they're not necessarily like body eaters the way that we think of them now. So even in Night of the Living Dead, they're not called zombies, and they didn't think of them as zombies at the time. They were calling them ghouls. But anyway, all right, Mike, you got a zombie recommendation?
I mean, these are kind of classic ones, but I like 28 Days Later. I think that one's really good. I really enjoyed watching that. And then it's the George Romero one. We're in the mall. Is it Dawn of the Dead? That one's great.
Yeah, it's Dawn.
Yeah.
So, a lot of zombies.
It is a little hard to keep all of the Romero ones straight, but it's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I
so
like
many
Day of the
zombies.
Dead. That's my favorite one. That one is so silly.
Have you seen Diary of the Dead?
I have. That doesn't really work. It's
It has
it's
its
too
moments.
much.
It's
Too
got
silly.
zombie
Yeah.
cowboys.
Would The World's End be a zombie movie? You guys see that one? World's End? That was the Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the great movie. It's more Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right?
Yeah. I'm not recommending that. And because the Oingo Boingo reference, I feel like Ready Player One should be on this list for Dead Man's Party? That seems like an obvious one, even though you guys haven't.
Oh man, if we're doing an Oingo Boingo reference recommendation, it should be Forbidden Zone.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen
clearly.
Forbidden Zone?
I know you guys love it.
I actually
I'll recommend that later
super
on.
love it.
I love that
Yeah.
movie. I love it more than John.
We kind of brought
That's
this
fine.
up, but I recommend this movie it's a short film called Write a Story About the Day You Die, and it will revive you.
Yeah, available on archives.org. Don't look it up.
Right, or Vimeo, or no, just archive.org.
Just archive. Yeah, which is
If you're a fan of
safe.
Buffy podcast and you want to see us as kids make out with each other, I would recommend it.
I think you'll find that we were embarrassingly adult already. Really, I mean,
We were actually just out of high school, right? But we played high schoolers. It's just like the cast of Buffy.
Yeah, we're a little younger than the cast of Buffy. I
We were
think
really younger.
a little more
We were just out of high school. Right?
believable cast as high schoolers.
I want to say we were 20.
Which is still younger than everyone on the cast.
Yeah, but also
I'd
like
say it
you know,
was made after 9/11, definitely. So
Yes.
yeah, we were probably 20.
That is a really interesting way of time stamping it.
Oh, it's got that
You can't
after
hide from a
9/11 feel.
nuclear bomb in Indiana.
This isn't what happens, James.
I feel like it's
Oh,
relevant
no.
because there's a lot of conflict, like a lot of personal conflict in that movie, in that short film.
Next episode, we have Faith, Hope, and Tricks. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Buffy Virgin, on Twitter at Buffy Virgin Pod, on Facebook /Buffy Virgin, and you can find and make sure to come to the San Jose Halloween Horror Bash and see me and see the Buffy panel that may or may not be a Buffy Virgin special podcast episode. All right, bye.